Good evening, everyone. I'm coming at you typically about the same time I normally would prepare my for my session for the 5:30 Monday night, being that today is a holiday, and I also understand that many people are under flood watch and flood warnings throughout due to tropical storm, previously Hurricane Julia. Here in Punta Gorda, we got a lot of rain as well, but fortunately, we're high enough above sea level that it just mostly in the rural villages and some of the low-lying areas are flooded out. But hopefully everybody is safe and you'll get a chance to watch this at some point. So remember that with this particular course, since it's asynchronous, you're basically, you have access to things in advance, so you're able to go in and do things. So try not to put things off, as we've seen again today is another example of that. So let me give you some updates first. Microsoft Word assignment that closed last night, late submission with a valid reason, and weather would be a valid reason, through email up till Sunday, October 16th. But remember, you did have 2 full weeks already to work on this, so those of you who didn't put it off, I can tell that 28 out of 34 actually submitted it. Only 6 people did not. It should be graded before next week's session on Monday, the 17th. The Microsoft Word Theory test, 31 out of 34 took it. The average was 91%, so those of you that took it did very well. Project Update 2 was due this past Sunday night as well, and I'm going to be giving you some feedback on that. I started to give some individual feedback, but I was seeing the exact same issues from each person's submissions, so I'm going to basically provide you with some overall general feedback. So even if you didn't submit it, you would benefit from watching this session. The Excel assignment walkthrough was scheduled for today. That will close October 30th, week 11. Unfortunately, the assignment has not been put up yet, the revision for this upcoming semester's assignment, or this semester's current assignment. So as soon as that is up, I will create a separate walkthrough video, and I will post that right next to the assignment. And when that's up, I will inform you of that. The final project and presentation is due on Sunday, November 20th. That's just a reminder. Late submissions by the 25th. So now you'll see that we have, so far of your grade, 35% of your grade is in, and you still have 65% of your grade outstanding, right? So there's another 35% in tests and assignments, and then there's the other 30% in the final assessment. So now when it comes to the actual submission, right? So the first thing that you're supposed to submit in Project Update 2 is basically an outline of what's going to be included in your project. So during next week's session, I'm going to start each week asking some questions from students that are present to share with us what you're working on. And remember, your website can be done using Google Sites, and that's supposed to have 3 pages, right? So you need to have the pages linked together just like you did in your assignment for the web page portion of this class. And some of you submitted different things that you would put on the pages, but you didn't tell me what the pages were going to be called. Some of you didn't give me all 3 pages. So this is where you have to be thinking, what is going to be on all 3 pages so that it's organized, okay? All the pages should have multimedia, graphics, video, and follow rules for effective websites, okay? The Microsoft Word portion is the business proposal. And if you are recording, well, this is being recorded, so you could take a screenshot of this. But it's very important to understand that your business proposal follows these guidelines and has these elements. Okay, so you should have a title or a cover page, and you should look at business proposals on the web to make sure that you're following that particular style. It does not count towards your 6-page total. It should be its own page. And it should, and that also does not include the table of contents or the reference page or any appendixes you may put in there. So you want to have your title page, your cover page, table of contents, break it down with your headings, and it should be generated by Microsoft Word, just like you did in your Microsoft Word assignment. Your executive summary, this should be on its own page, be about 2 to 3 paragraphs. Does not count towards your total as well. This gives an overview of what you're going to be discussing and the type of business that you're presenting. Your proposal, the methodology, this should be the majority of your business proposal. So this is basically what products and what services do you offer, how do you offer them to the public, right? Then you'll also include in this section how you will use information technology. and you will also explain, what will be that methodology behind that. So the methodology of your business and how you will use IT. This should be your longest section. Your About Us section, this should be very short, a little bit about yourself and anybody that's involved in your business. Your pricing and financial, this is not where you're going to give me a price list. This should be totally different than what you have in your budget, right? This should be the thought processes behind where you come up with ideas, where you came up with the money to start the business, how much you're going to pay your employees, how much you're going to charge for your products, like this, how you will come up with that formula. Will you have a 10% markup if you're retail? Will you have a 20% markup? Will you offer discounts? What's going to be your pricing structure? This will be reflected in your budget, the actual prices, but you don't need to put them here, okay? The timeline, the best thing to do here would be have a grid, or just like they show with a historical timeline, what's going to take place between now and when the doors open. Then your terms and conditions would be another section that's a short section, which basically will just discuss whether or not you're going to accept credit from your patrons, and whether or not you're going to try to get the biggest bang for your buck from your potential suppliers. So by getting as many things as possible for one person, you may be able to get discounts and lower rates so that you can make more money or pass the savings on to your customer. Your final thoughts or your conclusion will basically be a wrap-up of what you just told us in your business proposal, right? You can also, at this point, talk about how you could grow the business down the road. Your references need to follow the rule of APA, right? So then this part here is where you're going to cite your references wherever they are used, the sources that you came up with that provided you the documentation you needed to determine how you're going to run your business. Where did you get your ideas from? Where did you get your pricing structure from? Where did you get your needs from? So this is all going to be in the references will be cited at the last page and in APA format. The site that I used to get this sample is right here. It's listed in this particular, so you could copy this and put this into your URL and look for it. And then this also, this particular source here, I cited it in APA, so you can see that right where I used it, I put the actual company's name and the year. And then here under references, this would be on its own page, and this is how all of your references should be listed. They should have the name of the company if it's a company or a author. Then you're going to have your year with your month and your day if you have it. You're going to have the name of your web page retrieved from the website and the URL. No retrieve dates should be present. So this is for the business proposal part. For the Excel part, again, consistently, I see a lot of people had not given me what they're going to put into their 3 sheets. So remember that your 3 sheets, sheet 1 should be a monthly breakdown, and it should be for the 2 years. And then you're going to show the profit and loss month by year. So then you're going to show in sheet 2, you're going to have a breakdown of your sales. So you're going to have to come up with how you're going to generate your revenue, whether it be by day or by week, and then you're going to have to come up with those sales totals will build to your other sheet using cell references. You'll do the same thing with your expenses. You'll break down your expenses, and then your sheet 1 is going to basically just have the months. It's going to have your sales by major category. It's going to have your expenses by major category, and then it's going to have your what's left over as your profit and your loss. You will have to use the formulas. Remember, this is something that we discussed when I rolled out the project, which you'll have to use the formulas. But this is what we're looking for here: is how are you going to generate money on your sales sheet? What are you going to sell? How much are you going to sell? How often are you going to sell it? How much you're going to sell by day, week, month, and year? And then how much are you going to spend each month in each of the main areas, right? So this is where we need to start seeing some things come up here, and we can discuss these during our consultation sessions to ensure that you're putting in valid expenditures and you're counting all of the areas where the money should be coming through. And then remember that you organize everything by profit and loss and by expenses and by sales. Keep them separate except for when you're on your page 1, which shows everything, okay? The other section that you have to worry about is with the tables. I saw some people had some of the tables put there with the identifiers, but for the most part, I did not see the 3 tables minimum, and I didn't see the relationships between each of the tables. So that is something that each of you need to do to make sure that you have that set up, right? So these are questions that you need to ask during our consultation sessions to ensure that you're on track and that you're not just going down the wrong path and are going to submit a incomplete product at the end. Okay, so please keep these pieces of feedback in mind when you are revising and working on your project during the consultation sessions. Again, if somebody wants to share their screen and we can take a look at it together, and then we could provide feedback to each other through peers, and also I can provide you feedback since I'll be the one grading it, and you'll be able to make the adjustments necessary. Remember, there is no pre-submission of the project. Whatever you submit at the end is what will be graded. And remember, each piece must be submitted only in the software requested. So you have a piece that's Microsoft Word, you have a website, you have a Microsoft Excel, you have a Microsoft Access, then you're going to have your recorded video presentation, which you'll be going through everything that you have, and you will physically have to be on cameras, right? So we will go through that again before the end of the semester. So basically that's it, folks, for this particular recorded session for the week. And I will, again, once I get the assignment and see what revisions have been made to it, I will create a video that takes you through the rubric so you know exactly what each step involves for the assignment. And then I'll be giving feedback next week, Monday, on the Microsoft Word assignment. And then you can ask any questions next week at our session on Monday. All right, folks, thank you very much. Have a great rest of the holiday and stay safe and stay dry.